All right. So, hello, everybody. Welcome to another Engineering the Markets. My name is Jared, and today is November 2nd, 2021. Let's take a look at what the market did yesterday. So, as a composite, the S&Ps are sort of grinding near their all-time highs. We know that the market has been putting in very subtle, maybe slight divergences near the highs. We're sort of looking for that initial pullback to begin. And we have an upcoming sort of binary risk this week with the FOMC meeting and the Fed chair minutes that follow 30 minutes after that announcement. The reason that is a risk for us is the Fed has indicated that they wish to do a initial round of bond purchase tapering and MBS or mortgage-backed security tapering or reduction in purchasing of those assets. That can affect the interest rates on things like our notes and our 10-year product, which we track using things like /ZN. We track more technically using the TLT as a 20-year composite. And then we monitor those interest rates using our TNX, which is our 10-year Treasury index itself. So as the market stalls near the all-time highs, and we're seeing maybe a bit of waning momentum, we look across into different areas of the market and see, has anything really broken down from this strong uptrend? And so far, the answer is basically no. We are seeing that declining volume across multiple products. You can see the NASDAQ here is showing that declining volume, which indicates that once we do start to pivot, we may see a larger pullback in the context of this current uptrend. As always, kind of anticipating what that could look like, we could take things like measured moves, which often we want to start from low to high, measure things out where they are currently, and just sort of anticipate that if the market does start to pull back, we could be looking at maybe the 382 or the 50% retracement if we believe that this uptrend has some stronger demand that has been waiting near these moving average supports. So as the market climbs here, we also are trying to get a sense of where to position next. And if you've been attending our more recent Engineering the Market sessions, you'll know that I put together sort of a bullish case for one of our main products, which is the Russell 2000. Now, this thesis, just like any other thesis, could have broken down or simply not triggered for an extended period of time. But all of the pieces of the puzzle were starting to come together. And what we were simply looking for is that tipping point, the moment in time where either we're getting some swing highs that are breaking previous highs, facilitating maybe some short covering and some repositioning. We were also looking to see maybe the trend in this market could reestablish. Idea behind this is we want to have all of our moving averages aligned with the 20, 50, 200 in the correct order, along with these moving averages actually rising with the price. That began approximately during last week. And while a lot of people saw this sort of 2-day pullback as the potential for this range to basically stall and to come back to its midpoint, which ultimately it did. It came down to approximately the 223s for IWM. I instead viewed this as an opportunity to enter. The reason for that is that higher level analysis, looking at things like the TTM, which of course has been breaking bullish on the daily. And if we shift over to the weekly, we know that the momentum on this weekly squeeze has already been showing a bullish histogram. All we're waiting for now, with IWM trading near the highs, is the first week where the squeeze has fired. So As with any thesis, congrats to those who have either entered and have positioned themselves for this opportunity. Ultimately, I don't think this opportunity is going to be short-lived. When I look at this range from a technical sense, a lot of people will often view the all-time high as the range high. And while this technically could be interpreted as resistance, as it did act as a stall point for the market, I like to view things on that higher time frame and simply note that the range was set approximately at 230 using the IWM as our product. The reason for this is because the low that was set following was set after this high was created. And subsequent upper tests, or basically false breakouts that pulled back in, they do define additional resistance. But the range, the one that actually matters for the breakout, has already triggered. In the case of this sort of technical overview, a lot of people also refer to the work done by Richard Wyckoff. This idea that this upper range does have different levels depending on where you measure, but the top end was set back in early February. So as we move forward, if this trade and if your time frame is more short term, you may wish to be looking to take profits as we extend both past the 230 mark, and of course, as we're starting to test all-time high, looking to see if we get any sort of upper resistance. Basically, does this market pivot? If we do not see any of that, then the thesis here is that this is a weekly squeeze that is about to break out. And ultimately, these should have multi-month continuations. The idea being that if this market does want to start trending, pullbacks to the 20 or even more aggressive moving averages, if this does begin to go more parabolic, will start to act as support. And ultimately, we'll need to see how this forms on these pullbacks, understanding that we do have that binary risk this week with the FOMC. So congrats to all of those who have done the work, basically to put in that sort of due diligence here and position themselves accordingly using things like pullbacks to get in at better prices. Now, when looking at the IWM yesterday, we do have outperformance, and wanting to see what that looks like from a sector breakdown. If I can click the right options here. Looking at the Russell 2000, not only was this a very strong day in the Russell, but it was sort of an all-out buying inside of this product. We're not seeing one or two major sectors leading the charge, with the rest of the heat map showing, sort of that 50-50 red to green. Instead, this is a more correlated buy, i.e. a basket of stocks being purchased as opposed to particular sectors or industries who are benefiting with that short-term sort of sector rotation approach. Now, another thing that you can also watch, and this is more for the intraday, is something like an index watch. Anything that is showing your advancing and declining issues on that daily session. Yesterday, unfortunately, I did not take a screen cap of this, but yesterday near the end of the session, IWM was starting to stall out. And we looked at the advanced decline inside of the chat room. We saw that at that moment, approximately 20 times more capital was flowing into advancing stocks. Not only that, but with 2,000 products, approximately 1,750 to 1,800 were advancing on the day. And that, of course, can be seen more with the heat map, along with the fact that there were many more advancing stocks than declining, with large amounts of capital flowing into those stocks. So very correlated buy inside of the Russell yesterday, and that is certainly where the strength occurred on the first day of November. Moving into some particular areas of interest, it's worth looking at some of the strongest sectors and industries on the day. One of them that stood out after the day was done was biotech. Now, this is an area that ultimately has been quite volatile throughout 2021. We saw a major top be placed in something like XBI back in February. And if you recall, this is also approximately the time frame where IWM placed its topside range. So an interesting sort of technical observation here, the high of biotech corresponded with the high of IWM, at least from the range perspective. And ever since then, we've either seen precipitous falls or some possible sort of support bounces. I've gone ahead and marked this particular low as not only have we tested it once, but it was a low of interest during the decline. If I can pull it back to the 3-week, just hover my mouse over here. You'll see this upper area right here. If I extend this out, and you'll note that not only did the market have sort of a false breakout look, and that led to a pullback on the larger trend, but as the market was breaching this area, the volume profile changed. This acted basically as a breakout level, and the market responded on this large drop with a double bottom. Now, that's of course the most ideal entry, and that's of course looking back in time. But if we just look at the past couple of sessions, we're seeing a bit of a shift here in some sentiment. On Thursday's session, we had a nice impulsive move to the upside, clearing 2 selling candles. So you can think of this as sort of a 3-day engulfing pattern. 2 days of selling, 1 day capturing the price. This particular pullback here, very interesting. Some people sort of view this as a 3-bar entry. The idea is that you see the impulsive wave, the possible range expansion type candle, or just some sort of buy setup overall, and then you're looking to enter with a tighter risk than the overall candle. And that, of course, followed through yesterday on Monday's session, seeing not only a clearing of this previous swing high and basically starting the process of changing the daily trend, but also very strong volume on those impulsive candles to the upside, or those sort of ignition type candles. So worth noting that this was a sector of interest on yesterday's session. It's also worth looking at another major area of the IWM, and that's going to be regional banks. So for this one, I'm using the KRE. This is the S&P Regional Banking ETF. And this has been a trending area of the market as of late. We often will sort of facilitate this viewpoint with the XLF, but know that there are different components to these ETFs, and they sort of have different headwinds and tailwinds in the market. Often with the banking sector, if we're looking strictly at banks and not so much at maybe insurance companies and some of the other aspects that fall into financials, a lot of these products will benefit from an environment where not only are interest rates rising, but the spread, aka the yield curve between shorter term and longer term notes and bonds, in the case of the 10 and 30, or just short to long tailed indexes like that, as long as that spread is relatively wide, banks often can have higher profit margins. The idea is simply that banks like to loan long term, aka they want that interest rate to be elevated. And then in short term, that is where they tend to borrow. So if that spread is wide, they're basically acting as a bit of a market for loans. And in that case, they benefit from the spread of where they borrow and where they loan. When it comes to the KRE, the thesis behind that is essentially the same. But because these are regional banks, they are not adhered to the same regulations as to where they can borrow. And oftentimes, as a very simple indicator, one can look at something like high yield corporate debt to see some of that inflection occurring and also see some potential risk in the market. we brought this up a few weeks prior as another risk factor when the market was correcting. The idea here is that if there is a risk on mentality in the market, this product will either be stable or just simply see a bit of a rise, i.e., no one is necessarily bailing on junk credit rated bonds or corporate high yield corporate debt. Now, that is still true. This is still a bit of a red flag for the equities market, especially if we start to see this precipitously fall like we did back in September and October. That, of course, was not necessarily a leading indicator. The market did break down prior to this. But if you simply look at when the market cracked its trend, that's, of course, on September 20th when we lost the dominant uptrend in the SPY, the 17th being here, the 20th with that major gap down facilitated by some news with the Evergrande crisis in China. And if you scroll back to our corporate debt ETF, you'll see that it also incurred that same gap down, technically had a back test and basically filled up this gap and then responded to the downside. So as with anything, at least in the regards to risk factors of the market tends to have a bit of a shorter term memory. Now, we're seeing things like the financials respond in kind with continuation and with regional banks seeing that benefit of the spread in how they borrow and how they loan. But for the equities as a whole, we do want to continue to watch these risk factors. The same idea applies for anything else we monitor, things like volatility, which has been on a very steady incline, but not really seeing the spike as of yet. Things like the dollar, which continues to be a bit of a choppy overall index. We're seeing impulsive moves down, followed by strong recoveries higher. Definitely want to watch this swing high as we have sort of false braked to the downside and are pulling back into it. This could set up sort of a bear trap if the perspective was downside continuation. And yeah, just monitoring where we are in this chart. You can see this higher price level inflection point. That is something to watch in the days to come. And then finally, things that we've already discussed with the bond market. The idea behind all this is not necessarily that if all of them are flashing, it's time to abandon ship. But it may be worth considering that if we have a lot of additional risk, it is worth considering things like hedges, i.e. putting on volatility spreads to protect in some sort of black swan or just downside correction that comes very quickly. It's also the time to consider either locking in profits if you are profitable on a trade and have already met your target. The downside risk becomes elevated as the market continues. Finally, just knowing what sectors and areas of the markets to focus on depending on your bias as a trader. There have been some absolutely great shorts in this market. And while I personally am not necessarily a short bias trader in both day, swing, or even option trading, I do see benefit in having that mindset in the right climate. Unfortunately, 2021 and most of 2020 has not been very kind to bearish plays. You've had to either pick your spots very carefully or simply look for overextension, sort of the hype mania. And once that calms down, you get some excellent fades as the market returns to the mean and even overshoots to the downside. So as always, there's going to be those moments where market is giving those opportunities. What we're looking for now is simply not to get trapped in the wrong bias too early. What we're seeing in the IWM is continuation. This is a range breakout, true and true. And we certainly do not want to fight this, although the benefit for shorting this high has often come with some sort of topping structure. So in the next couple of days, if that does not occur, you can expect this market to either breach higher or simply start to grind in some sort of gamma related upside move. Similar to stocks like Tesla, once they do break out, I do not wish to fight that trend until it is truly topped. And even with some potential short plays on intraday sessions, the risk is always a new all-time high and continuation to the upside, as your risk price is not heavily defined. So, as with some other things that were in play yesterday, a lot of this was covered, and it is correlated to what Tesla is doing. We're seeing very interesting resurgence of different companies back in play. Stocks like NIO, one of our go-tos in regards to correlated EV strength. Interesting gap down on some of the delivery numbers that reported in the beginning of November, but coming into a psychological price level, 37, I've already got that marked, also correlating with a swing high and a very significant rally off of that low. You can notice that these inflections here acted as a bit of support, although the daily will not show that low. We also have new stocks that are back in play. Lucid with another gamma related upside move. Seeing a little bit of topping action in the short term, but ultimately this can pick back up with any sort of new information or simply a resurgence of a previous support. There's going to be some interesting sort of oversold plays if this does profit take. But if it continues, we do have upper resistance and a gap to look into. And across the entire EV sector, lots of interest, but even alternate energy type plays, the likes of Plug and Fuel Cell, most notable inside of our IWM, along with just some names that have great day trading opportunity. We've also mentioned things like solar. This is one I've been particularly bullish on for a couple of months. This one finally seeing that very clear breakout with the change in volume profile. We're coming into some possible upside resistance. It's always worth noting, where did the market have the deepest corrections? And as we get to this area, definitely want to either consider taking some profit on shorter term trades or just hedging your downside risk. You know, we're really extended at this point, no matter how you look at it. And a lot of the companies that have reported earnings are already climbing very drastically. So when these do begin to profit take, you definitely don't want to be too elevated in your initial position and unaware of that downside risk. The likes of First Solar is one that is actually coming into its earnings and one of the two major holdings inside of TAM. Now, let's see, solar, alternate energy, EVs, all of these back in play. Also worth mentioning some developments that are more or less in today's session with the underlying asset, but we saw strength in the equities prior to the move. And it's worth calling up Mara because we often do have it in our gap up list. But Mara had a very clear swing high resistance that we tested on yesterday. And what I found so interesting is not only the respect of this test, you'll note that if I draw this down to 57.75, which I do believe was the actual high of this candle, and if I also note just things like the close of these two candles, one closing at the highs and one, of course, opening near that price, these offered two spots of upside resistance. Basically, the first attempt coming into the close, that was a 3-day pullback. Shorter term traders, that's plenty of opportunity to the downside. And then, of course, this is a strong sector. So we did see that final topside test and essentially the highest price point in the year 2021 being tested by a stock like Mara. Now, this is not Mara's all-time high. It's worth pulling up full history here to see that this stock has had some parabolic moves back in the past. But if you are in some ways a crypto bull and you believe that this bull cycle is simply going through its final stage of a mid-cycle correction and sort of that gear up into the parabolic shift, then stocks like Mara are definitely on your watch, because not only are they testing resistance, but on shorter time frames, as we come back into just what's happening in pre-market, we're gearing up for a possible breakout. And what's so great about these breakouts is once you clear lots of this sort of shorter term levels, you start to look higher time frame and you realize that not a lot of price history has been printed above. This actually kind of skews it. There are some distributions up here, but you have to be looking back in time. And ultimately, you want to start marking things like major shelf lows if we get a clear and decisive breakout. So main thing here is just not to cap yourself too early and ultimately know what you're trading. If your profit was targeting these levels, then congratulations, you've hit your target. But understand that if this does break out, there is continued upside as this market is trending. And as we catch up to our 20, this can easily become swing high into pullback sort of scenarios, basically buy the dip approaches. Now, that's not only true for Mara. If we shift over to stocks like HUT, this is a stock that has made a new high, and this is a relatively new offering, showcasing here the monthly rising volume and the fact that this is very impulsive in nature, i.e. we're trying to expand range. So if this stock is to continue and ultimately to grind higher into its earnings, this could be another area to consider. Let's see, last but not least, I think this one was brought to my attention. I can't remember the ticker name. There we go. Clean Spark. This one's seeing a bit of a bullish ride so far in the past couple of weeks. So all that said, we have a lot of bullish activity in these sectors. Market appears to be sort of shifting its focus, maybe moving less away or more away from the larger market cap names. A lot of those have reported earnings. Basically, the mystery is gone in those names. And while there's still going to be some short-term plays, these stocks may simply consolidate for a period of time. You'll note that Apple really didn't do much on yesterday's session, and the likes of Microsoft are simply starting to see maybe a bit of a pause in its bullish momentum, albeit this is an all-time high breakout, and I'd be looking for that first pullback as a possible buying opportunity. So with that said, my name is Jared. This is Engineering the Market. We basically have the same information as we did yesterday, and all we're seeing now is a bit of confirmation on some of our theses. We knew that EVs were in play. Tesla kind of set the stage for that. We're seeing tons of continuation in different stocks. Other sectors that are either correlated or even related to the discussions of the infrastructure bill being discussed currently, those are all starting to see that speculative run-up. And we have our larger index thesis of the IWM looking at a range breakout and hoping for continuation. The only caveat here is that we have that binary risk. So however you enter this market, understand that putting on some downside protection may not be a bad idea, especially if we do see Wednesday with some actionable price action. I.e., does the bond market react severely, and is the equity market going to take that downside correction that we proposed on yesterday's Engineering the Market? So review that information. We basically have a day or two to prepare for this event. And if you're sitting on some unrealized profit, you may want to consider how to protect yourself, whether it be profit taking, hedging, or simply taking that opposite bet in the short term. So with that said, stay tuned for pre-market prep, trade safe as always, and we'll talk more tomorrow.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Pre-Market Prep. I hope you're having an amazing morning. I hope you had a great day yesterday. Good morning, Norm. How are you doing today, my friend?
Hey, good morning, brother. I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing very, very good. Yeah, doing good, man. Cannot complain. Let's get started here. Let's take a look at our watch list from yesterday. Let's zoom into that. And we had OCGN on our list yesterday. Let's go into our 5 minute from yesterday. Is this it? Yeah, here it is. So pretty rough start. It clearly wanted to break out as 13.15, right? It was very strong, had a great pre-market action, and it had the volume. It was all about, can it get going here? It took a bit, guys. It took to probably 11 a.m. or so till we finally got a very, very nice breakout here above all the moving averages, and you got the continuation, right? A couple of times we broke out of this 13.15 level that we had, including right in this area here. Oh, hold on a second. I got you guys in the wrong screen. Let's flip that over and let's bring you guys on the 5 minute. As you guys were stuck there looking at the SPY. So thanks for calling that out there. OCGN, here we go. And let's get our amazing epic pen here, which helps us out every single morning. Let's see if that's working. Epic pen. There it is. All right, it's coming up. It's waking up there. As it wakes up, OCGN, guys, a nice, beautiful breakout here above 13.15 all the way up to 14.50 today. Also very active, guys. We got 2 million shares traded on this, up 5%. So this will be in play for some time. You just got to wait on it, right? We talked about sometimes waiting a little bit. This is a very rough patch here, and you could have stabbed this a couple of times and got stopped out, right? Or had to be very patient and wait for this entire consolidation to take place. But it did give you some opportunities, so pretty good stuff there. Here's Lucid. It was not as hot as we thought it was going to be, but look at the drop we got there yesterday at the open. beautiful rejection, nice continuation on the 9 moving average. Not an easy trade to take, right? This drop did happen very fast. It did get very extended, so sometimes that could be difficult to take a trade on that, as you can see right on there. But nice, beautiful drop on Lucid. Eventually found a bottom, gave you a quick bounce to the VWAP, and then just went sideways for the mid part of the day there. So again, you had a couple of opportunities on this one. NEO was also incredible, guys. Pre-market action, we talked about NEO having this amazing volume. I forget the number. It was something ridiculous. It was very high, even for them. And it was just flat. It was constantly just not doing anything. And we talked about if this volume at the open can pick a direction, NEO can be very good. And it did just that. Look at this beautiful pop in here, guys. Traded very, very nice. And went all the way up to 40.80 from 38, open around 38.20. So again, beautiful takeoff there. And then didn't do much the entire day after that. But again, it had an amazing run at the market, right at the bell there. Plug, guys, we talked about this one being hit or miss. You have to be quick on it. If you are looking for open range breakup on the 5, you did get that. If you're looking for a breakout on the 40.50, you did get that. But again, look at this drop, just brutal. Comes back and gives everything right back. So hopefully nobody was chasing this one because it just drops right back towards almost the low of the day at that time. You can see that right on there. Then it just gets very messy above and below the VWAP a couple of times. It manages to put in an uptrend, hits the high of the day again, but it was not pretty. You look at this is not pretty, going below and above the moving averages like that. That is not a pretty thing to do there. Here is Apple. Apple was not, I didn't look too much at the price action on Apple. I was busy with NEO and other stuff, but it didn't look great. Again, I can't tell how the price action was. It didn't look all that exciting. You did get a drop here. Maybe he plays for the low of the day, but for the most part, it didn't look all that good yesterday for me. Now Tesla, let's talk about Tesla here, guys. It does get going just on some madness yesterday, and it is going to be in play today, down 4%. 2 million shares traded. Look at the start of this, right? If you waited a couple of minutes, right, you can see how strong this thing was. Hits the high of the day, breaks out of that very nicely here in a nice little bull flag, and really never looks back. I mean, this thing takes off on the 9 moving average, does lose the 20, which sometimes a good indication this thing is going to drop. But here comes the 50, grabs onto that, and then just takes off again for the all-time highs, right? We're sitting pretty nice on Tesla here. So just insane, guys. 1,200 is the all-time highs in this thing. A little bit higher this morning already. We're already hitting as high. Oh, last night we hit as high as 1,225. So just insane. That is what we had on our list yesterday. This morning's gappers list, we're looking pretty full on both sides of the field. We're only going to try to look at the top 6, guys. We'll look at the top 6, and I'll send it over to Norm, and then you guys see what you guys like on your end. So we're not going to go crazy with this, but we have a whole lot happening today. And Norm, I know we have a lot of interesting stuff happening today with the overall market.
Yeah, nothing really going on today data wise. Earnings season, we've got a lot of stuff on that. We've got Bitcoin that is kind of flagging up there and sitting near all-time highs. So that's popping a bunch of the Bitcoin miners on our gap up. I saw some upgrades in that arena as well. We'll dig into that in a little bit. The big thing really this week is the Fed FOMC announcement, 2 p.m. tomorrow. We'll see how much that moves things. I think it'll be more their verbiage and how they portray moving next year. There's some anticipation that interest rate hikes are going to be coming sooner than people had thought. So if they give any indication of that, what they're seeing inflation-wise and such, so it'll be. Somebody's excited for it in your background.
Yeah, somebody's agreeing to that with that horn there. But yes, I forgot it's tomorrow, not today. So you're right. Yep. Today's got confused with it being today.
They meet today and tomorrow, and the announcement comes out 2 p.m. tomorrow, 2 p.m. tomorrow Eastern, and then his press conference 2:30. So.
Exactly. That is when the fun starts. He's always interesting to watch, that's for sure. All right, folks, let's get into our gappers list this morning, starting with the gap up list. We're going to go to the top 6 or 5. We're not going to go crazy here. NXTD, we've seen this before, has made our list a couple of times on the gap up and down, but I never end up keeping it. It's just a nasty trading stock here. Already is doing some madness.
Yeah.
You see the gap up this morning. I mean, the pop up on the one candle, and then just the drip right down where it started. So it's just pay no attention to this. I don't. I really don't. It was
Looks weak and can't. And I don't have shares for short anyway. So
yeah, exactly. 4 million shares flow.
5 mil. Yeah, 4 million shares flow. Yeah, just
garbage, guys. Let's look at SABS this morning, and this one's not looking any better as well. Is this what is this? A SAB Biotherapeutics?
Yeah, it's a biotech recent IPO, and it's up 23%, but it's low float. I believe 11.5 million roughly, and not looking great to me either. So
yeah. Does not look good here pre-market wise and the daily. Obviously, we don't have a whole lot of information to go by here. We'll skip on this one for now. And they agree as well as they're honking the horn again. Here's a UAA, and this is Under Armour. The different class share, and they're up. My wife told me that Coca-Cola bought them or something like that. No, that's different. They bought something else. They bought Body Armor. No, my wife was talking to me last night about stocks and whatever. Under Armour, so they're up. Earnings for them?
Yes, earnings this morning.
Perfect.
So they're popping on earnings.
What's the other? This is one ticker, and the other one is UA, right?
UAA and UAA. UAA tends to get more volume.
Okay. All right, so we'll look at UAA this morning. We'll put that one on deck here. UAA, definitely. Again, we don't really watch this one much, but when earnings, we have seen some good plays out of this one. We'll keep this one on deck right now. Fuel Cell. This morning, they are up nice 7.9, 8.8% this morning. 5.7 million shares traded. This looks good. This looks very, very good.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
They've announced an agreement. They have a partnership with ExxonMobil for some sort of carbon capture technology. So,
yeah. That is great news for them. Up 8%, guys. Great volume this morning. Nice breakout. Even a great day yesterday. This is very strong the last couple of days. Looking very, very good this morning, guys. I like that. OCGN here. We had a decent day yesterday. It was a little bit of a rough start, but they did get going nicely. Today they're up another 5.2, guys. So they just, they're a weird stock, but they are very strong the last couple of days. It's just a funky looking daily. But they are definitely in play. You just need to be careful with trading it. It can be so choppy. It's not the cleanest trading stock, but there are some moves available to it. Even the pre-market right now looks a little bit funky with 2 million shares traded, but they are in play. Let's look at the last one here, Mara. This will make number 6, I believe. Mara this morning, they're up 4.5, 222,000. What is Bitcoin doing? Let me see. How can I get the hashtag
I was
here?
just talking about.
Yeah.
No, without making a trade.
Yeah, without making a trade. So
because you have a hotkey that's like
the shift. Yeah,
shift 3.
Shift 3. Shift 3 is actually cover. So what happens is I just get an error. But it's just scary anyway. So
I agree.
Or sell. No, that's actually sell. I'm not going to touch it. Whatever. But if you click it on here, if you click it here on the actual thing, it doesn't do anything. But here, it's done. Yeah. So Bitcoin, we are up. We're up nicely this morning. So we see Mara is kind of reflecting some of that. Mara has ran up so much here, looking very strong. What is Riot doing and these other companies? Yeah, Mara's the best one. I'm going to put Mara here, guys, for now. We'll see where that goes. Volume is a little bit lighter than what I would like to see, but they got a nice pop of 4.3 this morning. All right, let's stop here on the gap up. Gapping down, we have Dell this morning. What? Wait, what? What happened? Is this a split?
No. It's nothing. They spun off a business unit, so that's taken out of there. There's nothing to see here.
Nothing to see here. Let's move on. Yeah, this is just insane. CHGG, guys, this one down 38%, 34%, 3 million shares trading right now. I mean, traded. Wow, this is a big drop. What is going on here?
Yeah, it is. At earnings, and they are in the educational space. Kids going back to school is not good for them. If you go back and look at like a weekly over the course of the last year or so, they're right where they were at the beginning of the pandemic. They exploded from $40 to $110 over the year, and then people go back to school and they're right back to where they were. So
Ooh, that is rough. The fun is over, my friends, on this one. Back down to 40.90, which is, it might be okay for them, right? But that's a big drop. Yeah, definitely in play. We do have shares for sure on this one. It can move quite a bit, guys. I'm not going to say it's crazy, but you do have to be careful with your number of shares. You can get a nice 50 cents move here very, very quickly. So you do not need to go crazy in the shares size on this one. CHGG, guys, definitely in play. Going to keep an eye on that one this morning. That is looking good. Let's get back to our daily chart. Huge drop here. TRIT, we've seen this garbage before. No. Let's move on.
No.
Yep, no good. ABVC, we had this one active yesterday. I kept it on the low flow pile there. I didn't really look at how I actually traded, but it doesn't look like it was a whole lot of fun. A couple of breakouts here. If you're scalping it, that could have been some good opportunities there from 9.31, guys, all the way to 12. So not bad. Just look how quickly you got to react to this, how quickly you have to jump out of this mess. Because look at the drop here. Hits 11.75 or so, and then whew, look at that drop down to, what is this? This goes down to 8.66. 5 minutes. Let's look at the 1 minute. Just curious to see how fast this thing happens. Guys, this is why we tell you, be extremely careful with these lower flow stocks. You know, only Norm can pull off what he pulls off. But guys, very, very careful. Look at this drop here.
It looks super weak right now, and
yeah,
it does not have any shares for short anyway. This is a no-go zone for me.
Messy, guys. Again, just look at this yesterday. It goes up, and in 1 minute drops down to 9.60. Wow, that is dangerous. So definitely not in play today anyway. So we'll move on from this one, guys. VUZI there. No good. Had a good day yesterday. Seems like just off the daily without getting into too much details. I don't like what I'm seeing here in the pre-market anyway. So we'll skip on this one. BHC has a horrible daily, but this pre-market could get interesting if they can get more volume and order flow. 50-cent spread though. Yeah, that's not great.
This isn't a great trader.
This is not great. So we're going to skip on this one as well. VRT. VRTech is something else. VRT here, no, horrible pre-market action. Has 1 million shares traded, but look at that 1 million, how that is trading. That is pretty nasty there. So nothing to see. And then I'm just going to look at Lucid because I know we've been watching this one quite a bit. This one is interesting, guys. Down 4.7, 3 million shares traded. We do have shares for sure. They are not having a great time the last 2 days here. So gapped up on both, sold off on both. And today now we are seeing some possibilities of a continuation towards the downside here after such a beautiful day. This would have been on Thursday, I believe. Yeah, Thursday, Monday. Yeah. So, all right, cool. Let's put Lucid here, and we will move over to you, Norm. What do you like this morning?
That we haven't gone over yet. WIMI. WIMI
this morning. Yeah, this is cranking. Got some great volume. What's the float on this? Let's remind ourselves. 49,000. So not bad. Yeah, this is cranking. Norm.
1,000 or million?
Million. Excuse me. Yeah. Do you any news on this?
Yeah, so that they have an augmented reality headset or something of the sort that's been approved by the FCC. So.
Okay. All right, cool. Definitely in play, guys. Great volume. See, this is the difference between the pop and then you just start dropping down. You have the pop here and you're holding. This is what you want to see on these type of price actions in the pre-market. Not a low flow stock, but still you want to see that strength kind of hold there and hopefully continue slamming up against that pre-market high. So I like that one very much. We'll keep an eye on that one. Let's get this monitor over here. There we go. All right, let's take a look at our chat room. Let's start with who do we have here? BK, we have Lucid, so that's good. Lucid remains dead to me. It didn't treat you well yesterday. That's usually what happens at times. WIMI, we have, so that's good. Thank you, Ivan. Heading on down. SBEA.
It's a SPAC that's going to be reverse merging with Black Rifle Coffee Company, popping on that.
Yeah, you know what? I haven't traded that type of catalyst. It concerns me how the price action is going to be. Obviously, this thing looks great right now. I'm going to put it here on the risky pile just because I don't know what to expect out of something like this. It could be very unpredictable. Flow is 34 million. I'm not sure how much that plays into these type of SPACs, Norm, or these type of catalysts. But obviously this is moving and in play, right? So just be careful. We'll throw it on there, guys. It's definitely active. 15 million shares traded. Maybe today we'll take a look at it to see how some of that action could be. Maybe we can have some opportunities in the future. At least for me, I won't be touching it just yet. PFE, guys, we've seen in our list quite a few times before. It is a difficult intraday trading stock. Right.
It trades like shit usually.
It's horrible. It's really, really bad. And they get volume. Don't get me wrong. They'll get 30 million shares traded. They'll get up to 88 million shares traded. And it's still one of these stocks is very difficult to read the price action and trade.
They did have earnings. They've got a catalyst. If this is your kind of stock to trade, go for it. I refuse to put Pfizer on my list.
I do so as well. Again, it's just one of those stocks. Harry, thank you so much for the
thank you, Harry.
Super chat there. Good morning to you as well. And you are sending us here. Good morning. Happy Movember. Do you mean Movember? Is that a joke or
no?
Movember. Type. Okay. Hope you all have a great day. Hope you have a great day as well, Harry.
November.
Yeah. We appreciate you very, very much. That's right, man. No shave November. All right, excellent. Back to our list here, PFE, guys. I'm not going to add it to my list. I just don't like trading that one. Fabio, you're giving us a few on here. I'm just going to take your first two so you can give a chance to others. AMD, we'll start with that one. AMD, let's make sure this thing is linked up. AMD, great day yesterday on AMD. Today's a little bit flat right now, not doing a whole lot. Could be interesting, though, for a possible continuation, right? It hasn't dropped here. It's pretty much flat. I'm going to put it as a possible. We'll come back to that one. And then we'll look at Plug, which, again, just one of these stocks that can be a hit or miss type thing. 1 million shares traded, 1.6. We'll look at it. We'll look at it closely again. PFE, we looked at SBEA. We do have in our risky pile. It's not a low flow, but you want to be careful with that one. With me, we have AMD is good. NEO. Let's take a look at NEO here this morning. NEO right now. I think NEO is going to could be explosive again. Not going to be, could be explosive again as it was yesterday. 1.1 million shares traded. We'll look at NEO again. Thank you, Chris. You're giving us X as well. We'll look at that one. X, not too sure. I do like the daily here. We're losing this levels we had here, so maybe dropping back down to 2450ish or so. That would be great. I'm just not sure how that is gonna go. Joshua Cruz, thank you so much, man, for the $50 bomb there. Appreciate you very much.
Thank you very much.
That is very, very generous and kind of you.
Alzheimer's this month.
Yeah, we're going to Alzheimer's this month, charity of the month. So thank you so much for that. Starting the month off with a bang. So Joshua, thank you so much. Appreciate that very, very, very much. Also, reminder, Andrew will be matching these things dollar for dollar. So all your donations will be matched by Andrew as well. So thank you for that. All right, we left off here on PFE. Edwin, we just don't like that one as much. Guys, if you're okay with that one, add it to your list. I'm gonna skip on it. Jimmy, you're giving us a few. We have Fuel Cell. I'll take your other one, CLF here. CLF, interesting daily. Definitely interesting daily here. We're down 1.8, 522,000 shares traded. On the fence. We'll come back to it. On the fence. I think it can be pretty nice here. Apple. Let's take a look at Apple this morning. Pretty much flat. It's funny. I think they're just going to be choppy for a while, for a little bit here. It's just not doing a whole lot. Pre-market is very choppy as well. I don't think they're really in play, so I'm going to keep them off the list for now. Plug. We looked at Plug already, I believe. Did we? Yeah, we have Plug as a secondary. We are good there. FSR, we'll do just two more here, guys. FSR. What is going on with why is this thing not linking? Let's link it. Here we go. FSR. All right. No, great day yesterday. I don't see anything crazy right now that I like on it. So let's look at your other one. You're giving us two here. SoFi. No. Again, great day yesterday. Possible continuation.
Could get going today. It's a memer.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, is this one of the Wall Street fun stuff? All right, we'll add this one. We'll add that one on there. Sweet. All right, guys, let's stop here. Let's take a look over at some of the stuff we have over on YouTube. We'll start with Baba. Let's start there with Baba this morning. See what we got going on. Baba right now down 2%. It's okay. It can get going. It's okay, but I don't see anything good right now. I do like the fact that we're slamming against this area of resistance here towards the downside. But I wish I had a little more action in the pre-market. But Chris, that could get going though. I wouldn't completely take it off the list. DVN, no, this is no 14,000 shares traded, right? We need volume, guys. It's no good. So no, that one at ham, we can't watch that one this morning. Tesla, we do have on deck, right? Tesla's on here. No, we should put Tesla if we haven't. Yeah, we got to put Tesla. Tesla is 2.5 right now. Tesla here is down 3.5 at the moment, but definitely one that you want to keep an eye on. This thing is just insane. It's really difficult to trade now. You see the price action has changed quite a bit at this price range. But even if you don't trade it, it's just so fun to watch how strong this thing has been. Corey, I almost looked up that ticker. Corey puts $like, hit the buttons, hit the like button, guys. So appreciate that very much. Thank you. If you haven't done so already, guys, hit that like button. It does help the channel out.
Does help out
a whole bunch. So it does help out. Thank you so much. Appreciate you very much there. ABNB. No, not in play, guys. No volume there. It's just pretty weak right now. AMC this morning. AMC's daily could be interesting. They just need volume though. I mean, AMC is one of those stocks where you want to see the volume pouring in heavy on this one, and we're not seeing that right now in the pre-market.
You want to know they're holding the line.
Yeah, exactly right.
Hands are behind you.
Right, right. So not seeing that type of aggression right now from our friends at Wall Street Bets here. So I don't see that in play at the moment. That could change, but right now it's not showing that. Fang, no. This guys, no. This is just no good. SoFi, no. This is SoFi. We looked at already, right? Yes, we have it on here, so that's good. ROG.
I haven't looked at Fang in a long time. It gives me serious regrets. I rode Fang on a swing trade from 40 to 80 bucks, and I ditched it. It's 111 now.
You just don't look at it no more. That's still a great and amazing move, but I hear you.
No, I hear you. I just, it's one of those.
You just left $30. Yeah, you just left $30 move on the table there.
I only got half my move, essentially, is how I feel about it. That's all right.
That's a nice trade,
nevertheless.
2 more here, guys. 3 more. We do the LIF. We'll do LIF here. No, I don't. It's not in play, guys. 12 million shares here, pretty much flat right now. That's not a stock that is in play. Allo. No. All right, we're going south, guys. We're going downhill pretty fast here. PFE we looked at.
It's time for announcements. Anyway.
It's time for announcements.
I want to answer your question. Yeah. I want to ask, bad idea to short. I'm guessing you're saying short a stock that's gapped up, and vice versa. Not necessarily. There are people that have have trade book strategies on all day fades, for instance, where something's gapped up and they've, and the catalyst isn't strong enough to hold it there, and it just people taking profits and selling off. So it was a while, Brian. It wasn't a super short swing. So there are strategies, but you just got to work your own strategy on that. It's also boneheaded move to short something that's super strong and just keeps going up. So you gotta be able to detect the difference and manage your risk and so on and so forth.
Yeah, agree 100%. Guys, let's get over to our community event and announcements, and we will come back and fine tune this list.
Yeah, Silver Fox, it's Brian's rule that he doesn't always follow, and I don't necessarily agree with, because like I said, there are definitely all-day fade strategies that play all the time on stuff that pop. All right. So tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, you've got Kyle's Important Metrics to Journal. One of those metrics might be determining if that all-day fade strategy works or if it's going to blow up your account. And then next week, 8 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday is how to find your trading strategy to meet your trading goals. See, both of those fit that very, very well. Tomorrow night, 8 p.m., we've got Dr. Kenneth Reed talking about basic market dynamics, part of his Mastermind Pro course. And then next week, our wonderful Creda will be talking about her money mindset series, Build a God, I cannot say this. This one stumbled me 2 days in a row, I think. Build $1 million mindset. Remember, that'll be at 5 p.m. Eastern next Wednesday because she's in Europe. Oh, you didn't change out the announcements. That's all right. Just fast forward through here. Just a reminder that it's National Vegan. It's Vegan Awareness Month. So we were joking yesterday. If you weren't here, taking all the super chat and super sticker donations and donating it to a subscription for Butcher Box for our famous vegan chef on Trader and Bearable Traders, but we're not really going to do that. So it is going to the Fisher Center for Alzheimer's Research. If you want to participate in the member trade of the day, trade of the week, take a screenshot of your best trade of the day, post it on Twitter, tagging at Bearable Traders at Mike_BBT and at NormBBT. Also, be sure you put as much. Also, be sure that you put as much commentary on the trade as you can. Also, use hashtags BBT Family Day Trading Stock Market. We'll announce the winner each afternoon in the room and on Twitter. And then all those trades of the day are eligible for trade of the week, which is voted on by the team over the weekend and announced on Monday. All right. If you're watching in the room, if you're watching on YouTube and haven't been in the room, you can do so without a long-term obligation. Just 7 days, you'll be charged once. It's usually $39, but if you use the promo code premarket24, it'll give you a discount down to $24. Just go to bearabletraders.com. On the homepage, you can scroll down it's about halfway down the page. You'll see that test drive now. Click it. Enter the promo code, fill it out, and it'll give you access for 7 calendar days, 5 trading days to the room. Does not recur. So it's only that one time you're charged, and you can choose to be a member or not. Also gives you access to the live onboarding classes that are done every Monday night. And then, that promo code is actually no longer on the site. If you try to use the code, I think it'll still work, but that's fall 40.
All right, thank you, Norm. All right, guys, let's get to our list here, starting with UAA, which has earnings today, and they're moving pretty nice this morning, up 13%. It's a nice pop for them. Usually does not trade very well, but on a day like today, when they have earnings, they have a catalyst that can be nice to watch. So we'll keep this one on here. Fuel Cell, guys, 7.3 million shares traded. This thing is just on fire right now, looking very good. Definitely in play on the list. I don't usually like this one, but today they're looking very, very good. Daily is great. Definitely in play this morning. OCGN got some movement here. I think it's worth keeping here. Mara, Bitcoin is up. This thing is up 4%. I think, though, it might be, compared to everything else that we have on our list, might be more of a possible, right? I think it's a good possible for this morning. BTC, as you can see here, up nicely, hopefully looking to get going. That could be good for us. I'm going to just remove this ETF from there. CHGG in play, guys. Huge drop, 35%, 4.2. We do have shares for short right now, and we should have plenty, 2 million, so that's good. Yeah, so it's looking good there. Lucid this morning, they are down 3.2 million. That's also looking good. I love this daily here, guys. Looks a little bit on the weaker side. We lost 36 after trying to hold that the last 2 days. So looking very nice. Trying to get a base going here. I'm going to mark this down because it's just so clear right here, around 34.53. I know that's not the low of the pre-market. Low of the pre-market is right here, but again, just look how many touches and bounces we have around this area. So that 34.53, gonna have that there. Low of the pre-market, 34.33. We'll keep that one on there. WIMI looking good as well, and we have Tesla. How many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 903, we got time to do levels for all 7. I'm not going to keep all 7 on my list. And as we're talking about this, because sometimes we get someone that comes in that's new and says, man, you guys are watching tons of tickers. This is not what I learned in our education center. This is not what I learned from the books that I read from you guys. What we're doing here, guys, this is my main list that we're watching, right? That's the main list. And usually we'll keep this 6 and under. 6 and under. 6 is on the heavier side, on the larger side. This is our secondary list, things that can look great later down the line. So as you're trading this morning, you have your main list. Maybe if you saw ends up being garbage, crap, doesn't get volume, you scrap that off and see what's in your secondary list, and you can move that up, right? Things can change. So you got to adapt with the market as well. And then down here, we have our risky stuff. This is usually low flow stocks or stocks that are moving just like SBEA is moving this morning, guys, where it's going from, $10.50 to $14, right? Very, very big moves. Just gives you an awareness. You have to be careful with the number of shares you take on that thing. So looking good right now, though. We left off here on Lucid, so that is good. WIMI looking good as well, and Tesla. Tesla not looking so great, but they got the volume. And you know what? This is, I know I'm not going to trade this one. This is entertainment purposes only, so we'll move this down to a possible. It's fun to watch, but I think it's just a little messy at this price range. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got our 6 that we need. All right, let's go here. Levels, guys. High of the pre-market on Under Armour is going to be exactly 25. We'll slam a level there. They're moving pretty nice this morning. Great volume right now. 11.9 million. They're sitting on the New York Stock Exchange, so you're not going to get a crazy pre-market action. This is probably one of the best pre-market actions they have seen in a very long time. But you're not going to get like a NASDAQ, type of pre-market action. Here, levels towards the bottom, we have 23.28, a nice level there, area of support and great resistance on both sides of the field there. We do have this level right on here on the daily, 24.23, might be 24.25 actually, but that's a good one there. In the pre-market, you can see how that is playing as well, nicely there as an area of resistance. Above 25, the most recent high we have here on the daily, it's going to go up to 26, so we'll throw a level there as well. I think you're all set here as far as daily levels for UAA. Very good action right now on a nice catalyst this morning. Fuel cell just taking off here towards the bottom. I'm just going to mark down the low of the pre-market over at 912, 911 to be exact. High of the pre-market at the moment is 1039. We'll see how long that is going to hold. Let's move over to the left. Have we been up here on fuel cell in the past? Do we have any crazy spikes? Yes, we have. Here we go. So guys, that 1040, as you can see, nice area of resistance right over here. So you're getting that action this morning. Above that, we do have 1080, 83 area support resistance there. A couple of days here, we have one 1127, obviously all the way up here, guys. 1252 is one. And then you have one right on here around 1175. Not a whole lot of touches on 1127 and 1175, right? They're pretty light compared to like a 1040 where you have several days, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days slamming against that level. And if you go back, you got a couple of more days slamming against that. Here you had a nice spike and you only have a couple of days. So again, not too much weight on that, but it is a nice reference point for you to have on this fuel cell. Towards the bottom, guys, plenty of levels, highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. I don't think you need to add anything else towards the downside. OCGN, 3 million shares traded, up 5.3 this morning. High of the pre-market, 1488 right now. Towards the bottom, highs and lows, previous day close, doing a good job there for you. Do not need to add anything. Maybe the low of the pre-market slightly below the previous day close, and you have a lot of play on that level, so that's good to mark down. Heading to the left, do we have anything towards the top here? Yes, we do. Right over here, back in April, we have a level over at 1614. We have the madness over here over at 1878 off the daily. So this thing has the potential today, looking very good, guys. 3 million shares traded and looking to break higher. The last couple of days been really, really strong here. So that is looking good. CHGG this morning, they are down 35%, guys. Low of the pre-market right now, trying to hold on to this 4012 pre-market low, as you can see there. Towards the top, the high of the pre-market sitting around 43.90. And let's go to the left. Let's see what kind of price action we can find on the daily around here. Actually, we went back quite a bit here as we saw the monthly earlier. Let's go, let's dig back here. We're going to go down to 2020. Yeah, 2020 here, February, April. That's the closest we have. Towards the bottom, couple of, I like this one here, 36.92. I don't think we'll get there. That's a stretch, but you can see how clear that level is on the daily. Very, very clear. And you can see now even the low of the pre-market, guys, not a coincidence. If you look at the daily, that is a clear level there, 40.13, right? So you got some action happening there. This level is not as great, right? You can see the great levels stake out, right? This is a great level, this 40.19, 40.17 area. Very nice level. This one here is not as clean. This other one here, this 36.92, also very good level. You got touches both support and resistance. This of 38.44 is kind of smack in the middle. You got a couple of days opening and closing on there. I won't put too much weight on it like I would these 2 other levels on here in the bigger picture. But they're definitely an area where you've seen a couple of days opening, closing, and slamming up against that 38.44. So we'll keep that those levels on there. This morning, Lucid, 3.3 million shares traded. Look at this pre-market action, just lovely, guys. This is what you want to see. The range is great on this. Moving averages slamming down up against this level of support that we're trying to hold here, 34.33. Let's see if it does collapse here. It can be a whole lot of fun. This morning, as far as levels, highs and lows towards the top are taking care of you there. You can mark down the high of the pre-market over at 36.30. That's really all you need to do on the top side. Towards the bottom, we're going to go to the left here a little bit. Let's see if we can find some levels close to the price action. And we do, going back to the beginning of the year, February, March timeframe. You do have a nice level here on the daily, 29.96, and then towards great level support here, 21.10. We're not going to get there today, but just a level that sticks out like a sore thumb. They're very clear. And then 26.13, not the best level, but you can clearly see there's some touches on there as well. Lucid, guys, very good this morning. Beautiful pre-market action, great volume, and just a nice drop after a nice run last week. Here's WIMI, guys, continues to hold here, which is nice. Struggling to get above this pre-market highs over at 622 or so. Right now, trying to hit the VWAP. Let's see if it can hold here. But again, very strong right now, 6.8 up 15%. Yeah, you can see if it cannot hold the head, getting a little bit of a drop there. Let's go to the left and get some levels right now. Price action. Actually, price action might be right at a daily level. So we're going to mark that down there. That's 581, a little bit lower than what the price is now. It's a good one. Then from there, you got the highs of yesterday over at 560. Then towards the bottom of that, you got another level right over here at a 542. So that's all you really need on this one, guys. Towards the top, if it does decide to get back up here, you do have 653. And you do have this other one, a 688. Again, be careful with these levels, guys. Usually these lower price stocks, the price action is more important, right? So look at the price action, see what's happening, how the volume is coming in, how the order flow is coming in. Take a look at your level 2 in making your decision to get in on this one or not. So very important. All right, that is what we have, guys, on our list this morning. Let's take a look at our moderators lineup. Let's see what is going on here. So let's bring this in. I'm going to go ahead and change a few things here so it looks good for you guys. Guys, over on YouTube, if you haven't done so already, hit that thumbs up. We appreciate it very, very much. Trust me, we will not charge you for that thumbs up. It's completely free, but it does amazing stuff for us on our end and our channel. So we appreciate you guys for doing that. If you have done it already, thank you very, very much. All right, let's get to it, guys. So here is our moderators lineup this morning. Simon leading the way here. A couple of tickers for him: American Airlines, Mara, and Snap. You got some key levels for him as he usually puts on there. Eamon always gives you the potential short and longs. For the short, he's looking at American Airlines, INTC, and potential longs, he's looking at Snap. No IPOs, no SPAC for this morning. Mike is looking at AMD, Tesla. Jared will be looking at AMC, Tesla, NEO, and TLRY. Secondary list for him will be Lucid, Space, and also ETF ideas above. I think he might have put something. Yeah, here you go. So you got some ETFs ideas from Jared there. Some things he will be looking at this morning. Dima looking at Apple, Fuel Cell, UAA, and WIMI. Peter is looking at AMD, Apple, Under Armour. Secondary list Lucid, Fuel Cell, and WIMI. And Tiffany is looking at CHGG, OCGN, Fuel Cell, and secondary list Lucid and Tesla this morning. So, all right, pretty good list this morning, I think. So it should be fun. We got a lot of volume this morning, a lot of activity. A lot of stuff looking great on the pre-market and the daily. We got some pretty good daily stuff here happening as well.
So Trevor's asking, what is the small chat? What is the small account chat room? Some of you guys might have noticed when you went to the chat tab this morning to enter the Bear Bull Traders chat room. You now have two options. We've got this main chat room that is the same thing we've always had. And we also have the small account room. So Ed Martin, who is also known as Average Joe Trader, he's done a couple of presentations for us over the years, and he has joined BBT. So you might see some new names. His members are migrating over, and so it kind of gives you a couple of different options and perspectives of how to trade. And his specialty is trading small accounts, building small accounts. So anyway, just heads up. There's a lot of Ed's great, nice, super nice guy. Can give a different perspective. He does longer holds on stuff than some people are seeing here. So anyway, that is what it is.
All right.
Go check it out sometime.
Yes, absolutely. Go show him some love and check that out. Guys, over on YouTube, 9:15 Eastern time, getting ready for the pre-market open here. For the market open. Brian and Andrew are up next. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us here this morning over on YouTube. We appreciate it very much. We appreciate all the donations. Harry, Joshua, thank you so much for that. $5 from Harry and that 50 bomb from Joshua. Appreciate it very, very much. Again, everything going to our new charity of the month is going to be Alzheimer's and match dollar for dollar by Andrew. So thank you. Starting off the month with a bang. Guys, take care. Hit that thumbs up. Subscribe if it's your first time here. We are live every Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. Until Thursday, and then 8:30 on Friday. So take care, guys, and trade safe.
Take care, guys. Trade safe.